Hey everybody, welcome back to the art room. It is Thursday and I'm recording this for your lesson for tomorrow. We're going to get started by talking about sculpture today. That's what we're going to be working on. And I know my history kids, my fourth and fifth graders, you guys got to do this today in history class as part of our end of year, we're done with the book, lessons that have to do with what we learned. And so, of course, we've been learning about Greek and Roman history and medieval or Renaissance times. And so that was a time period where art was very, very up and coming, and people who were creative and artistic were starting to experiment with different types of materials. And marble and stone and clay were materials where people were starting to sculpt with. And so as part of our history lesson today, we worked with sculpture, and we're just gonna carry on in art today because I think it's something that I like to do when I'm in the classroom with you guys. And we didn't get to do it last year, and we won't get to do it this year unless I plan it as an online lesson. So I really want you guys to be able to have that with only a couple weeks left of school to finish off the year, kind of just rounding out. We've done pretty much everything else that I could think of to do online with you. It's hard because I don't know what you have at home, so or what you have access to, or what your parents are willing to let you have, because I know that it can get messy sometimes. So I was trying to keep it, calm for you all. But anyway, I think this is going to be an easy and fun project, and there's going to be lots of different choices as far as what material you're going to sculpt with go. So make sure you check the site, the classroom site that you're on, whether it's Schoology or Google Classroom. Make sure you're looking at all the different adaptations and solutions that or suggestions, I should say, that I give you for sculpting material, because really you can use Play-Doh, just plain old Play-Doh from the dollar store. It doesn't even have to be the Play-Doh brand. It can be the Crazy Art or whatever one they sell at the dollar store. And you can get like a 6 or 8 pack of it, of the small containers, for just $1, and you can use that for this. But if you want to have a more permanent sculpture, something that you're actually going to use for something, then you're going to want to use clay, and we're going to talk about how to do that. So a couple of things that I like to use here in the classroom are this Crayola air dry clay. It doesn't require to be baked or heated up in an oven, and it dries hard. You can't put water or food into it, okay, but it will dry hard where you can paint it and then use it for something like I'm going to show you because I made a few things with it here throughout the year. And the other, I love this. It's Crayola Model Magic. I'm a big fan of Crayola for student supply use. I think Crayola makes a great product, and it's affordable. So Model Magic is also awesome. Now, I don't know if you can get this at the dollar store, but you can buy it at Michael's, you can buy it at Walmart, you can buy it at Target, you can get it on Amazon. Pretty much anywhere that art supplies are sold, you can get Model Magic. It's made by Crayola, and you can buy it in big containers. You can buy it in individual packs like this. So yeah, this is a great one, and I'm going to show you a couple different things that are possible. I'm going to go to my overhead camera here. But before I do that, let me just let you know that a couple of things that you're going to need for this activity are a cookie pan or a cookie sheet, or something flat to work on that isn't going to get on, your table or your counter or wherever you're working. Okay, and you'll need possibly a rolling pin or something to roll out the clay. But if you don't have that, it's okay too. I'm going to show you some different things that you can do. And this is basically, you get to decide what you want to make, and there's many different ways to make lots of things with clay or with dough. I'm also going to be posting a couple of different recipes that you can make at home as far as make your own dough, and I'll explain what those are individually in the Google Classroom or the Schoology site, and you can decide. But if you want to keep it real simple and have pre-made stuff, Crayola Model Magic or the air dry clay would be just fine, okay? Or Play-Doh from the dollar store. All right, I have a mini straw here, but a toothpick is good too. Let's see if I can find my, yes, toothpick. This is a straw, this is a toothpick. Either one or both of these is fine. This is a little stylus that I have to poke holes in or make designs with. You can use that or the back of a paintbrush or even an old pencil or a pen. That'll be useful. And then as we go along here, you're going to see that you can start branching out into your house and finding like little pieces of little things around your house that you can use to press into the clay to make impressions and make different types of texture. So we'll talk about some of those things as we're going to. All right, let me go to the overhead camera and show you guys some of what I've got. Now this is a project that I made back in around Christmas time. So this is a clay bowl. It was made using the air dry clay, like this. The air dry clay, what I did was I took out a ball of it and I rolled it around in my hand as a, you know, in a ball, and then I flattened it, and with my fingers I started to pinch out the sides and until I got this flower shape. And what I did was I took like I think I was using a paintbrush, and I was pressing in to the sides of the clay while it was soft and making the illusion of petals, right? And so I put it inside of a small cup to keep its shape, so because I wanted it to be curved. See how it's curved? And then I flattened the bottom so that it would sit flat on my table. Okay? Now, after it dried for several days, I'm trying to see if I can get the lighting better to show you the detail of the paint. It's kind of hard to see, I know. The lighting doesn't help, but I painted the inside with acrylic paint like a flower. I just, you know, did what I wanted to do to it. And then I let it dry, and then I used clear Mod Podge in the gloss finish to make it shiny. Okay, so you can do that as well. Pretty much the sky is the limit with this kind of a project. You can do so many things to it. You can press beads in, or I like to wait to glue those on for after. I don't like to put them in while the clay is wet. I like to wait until after and then glue beads on if I want to add beads to something. And I'll show you something that Miles did. So this is made with rhinestones, and this is actually glue. Okay, this isn't Model Magic or clay at all. We squirted a big puddle of glue onto a piece of wax paper, and we let it take its shape and stop moving, and then he stuck rhinestones and sequins into it so that he could create this really cool looking little sculpture out of just glue and rhinestones. Okay, and then here, this is some of what you can do with Model Magic. This is all Model Magic that I was making like necklaces or pendants, or they could be like ornaments for your Christmas tree. So what I did was I used the Model Magic. I'm going to show you that in just a couple of minutes. We're going to start that. And then after I got it to be in the form that I wanted, the shape that I wanted, I poked a hole through it, and then I let it dry, and then the next day I was able to paint with whatever I wanted. Now this is red Model Magic. It comes in colors. So that's the color of the Model Magic, and then I just have been painting on it. I haven't glazed these yet. And then this is white Model Magic. See? Just plain old white. Poked a hole through it, and I just started coloring it with shimmery colors because I'm going to make this into some type of a flower. I just haven't finished it yet. This is another glue project from Miles, except this is, we used black glue the first time, and then this is just white glue that dried like that. And the rhinestones were stuck in, and then this time we had put a little string so that we can hang this up on our Christmas tree for Christmas this year. So that's glue. And now here's some more Model Magic sculpture. This is called a coil pot because of the way it's coiled, and I'll show you how to do it. And this is just a plain old, like, I modeled it with white and red Model Magic, so it gets that nice cool marbly effect. And I'm not going to be painting that, I'm just going to glaze it. And that was just a free form. Started out as a ball, stuck my thumb in the middle of it, and started pinching my way out. And these, I think this is the last thing I need to show you. This is made out of clay. again, the air dry clay, okay? And what I did was I cut these using cookie cutters at Christmas time. These are leftover ornaments that I didn't give out. And so I cut these with cookie cutters. I had snowflakes, and then I poked a hole through the top, and then I used a special, it's like a rolling pin, but it has texture on the outside. I don't have any here to show you, but because I brought them back home. But you can make the texture with anything you want. You can use stamps. You can use, things that have an impression on them that you can just lightly press into the dough. These are from an old game, so I'm going to use these today to show you how to use that. Okay, let's get started. Put all my fun stuff away. Now I hope you kind of have your creative juices flowing here. Well, here's one more to show you. I got a leaf from, I think Miles gave me this leaf. He liked it for some reason. And I pressed it into the Model Magic. You can do that too. Now if I were to have pulled, actually I could pull it up and you won't be able to see it. It makes an impression of the leaf. I'm just going to leave it in there like that. And you can glue that or use the Mod Podge to seal it down and make it permanent. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got a package of Mod Podge. A package of Model Magic, sorry. Knocking stuff down on my desk. We're going to start with the Model Magic and play with that a little bit. So when you take it out of the foil, it's very pliable. And it comes right off the foil. It's very easy to work with. So it looks like a block of soap. And you just start smushing it. I'm sure you've used Model Magic before. If you have taken art with me for, well, you guys probably, you have, I haven't really been in the classroom with you all since before last year. So you just keep it moving in your hands. Now the more you move it, the better it's going to work because it's going to get softer from the warmth of your hands. If you're making a pinch pot, which is the easiest in my opinion to make, you start out with a ball, just rolling it between your hands. Right? Once you get that nice ball shape, you stick your thumb in and you make an indentation into the middle. See, now I've got that nice little hole there. And you start using your fingers to literally pinch it out. Now you don't want to go super thin because it won't hold anything. It'll be too fragile or it could break. Now if this were other regular clay, sometimes too thin, it makes it crack. So I'm just feeling it, making sure that it feels even everywhere that I'm touching. I'm going to move my light over a little bit. And you see how it's kind of got that dome bottom, like it's pointy. Well, I want to flatten that out. So how do we flatten it out? Well, what I do is, if I'm working on a table or a tray, I just go ahead and gently give it a little push in the middle against the top of the table. And now I've got a flat bottom, you see? So now it will be able to sit on top of a table when it's dry. And it will lay flat. Now if you get little cracks in your dough, you just pinch them back together, squeeze them back together. You don't want to leave this all cracked. It won't look good when you paint it. Try to just squeeze it or blend it. Now there's lots of cool things you can do with this. You can leave it alone like this and wait and do all the fun stuff when you're painting. Or you take, like what I was saying before, how I have stamps. I'm just pressing that in, and you see how now it made this impression down here. Okay, and then I can use my stylus or my toothpick, whatever you want to use, and you can making holes. I don't know if you can see there. There you go. Holes. Just to add like an effect to it. You see? I know it's hard. I'm sorry I'm not getting a great angle for you. Okay. And then you can do whatever you want. You can make as many different impressions as you want to. You can ball it all up and start again if you don't like the way it's coming out. Clay is awesome for that, because if you don't like it, you just roll it back up and start all over again. It's time consuming, but at least you know you can. Right? You spend 20 minutes working on something and then you're like, I don't like it, or it's not coming out right. You just roll it all back up and start over again. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So now it's got these little lines. I'm trying to find the best angle to show. And so when I paint it, you're going to see the inside with the lines. I'm being careful not to over squeeze or push through and make holes. I'm using my backhand, my left hand for support when I push in with the right side. And we're going to just keep this simple here. This is the Model Magic. So okay. Now once this dries, tomorrow or the next day, I can go ahead and paint this however I want to. I'm going to leave that. And I'm putting it back on the foil, and I'm going to put it off on the side to dry. And now I'm going to open up another pack. I'm going to show you how to do a coil pot. So again, just opening up another foil pack. All the stuff that remains inside, I'm just scooping it out. It's easy to get it out. Stick it together. Okay. All right, now this is a different technique. Again, I'm just starting out warming it up in my hands, getting it more movable, more malleable. Now, with this one, with this technique, what you're going to do is you're going to roll like you're rolling a snake. You guys have made snakes before, right? With your dough. So you're just rolling out and you're making it even. You see how I'm got to make sure that one side is not thinner or thicker than the other. You have to be as even as you can. This is going to get kind of long, so you need some space to work. And I'm using my observation, my eyes to see and my fingers to feel. If it's too thick in one area, I'm going to thin it. This is getting long. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay, but as even as you can. All right, now I'd say that's probably, so now we've got this long rope, right? Okay. While you're there, you can just play with it. You can write your name in cursive. You can just do some cool designs. But I'm going to show you how to make a coil pot. So I start with one end of my Model Magic rope here. And I just begin by squeezing it in and pushing it in. And I'm going to begin like that. And I'm going to wind it. So it's going to look like a huge snail. Now if you decide to keep it a snail, that's fine. But I'm going to show you how to make this look into a coil pot. I'm just going to continue winding. There's other techniques and ways to do this, but this is the way that I'm going to show you. So now you've got this really cool windy figure. And now what we're going to do is I put it in my hand and I'm just very lightly pushing with my thumb and at the same time using my fingers. Now if you have a small cup, you could kind of put it into the cup and let it get its shape from the cup. And I'm kind of just manipulating this and bending it up. Now it's in my hand. Do you see the coils? It winds like that. And then the side. Okay, so now I remember I need that flat bottom if I want to make this sit on top of a desk or a table. And while it's still kind of wet and you need to make sure that your fingers are constantly checking to see if it's flopping over, it needs to come back up. Now, once I shape it into the circle, I can start playing around a little bit with it. I think I want to try to make it square. You don't have to. Here's the most important thing, guys. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to make the mistakes. Don't be afraid to start all over and mush it back up. Yeah, now I got it where I want it. So now it's this little square coil pot that I like. And you don't need to go on the internet for this. You just need to go into your imagination. Okay? Yeah, there's going to be a million ideas on the internet for what to do with model magic or clay, but you know, sometimes the best things happen accidentally or when you're not sure what the plan is and you just kind of play with it and see. And so I want you guys to do that. Just see what happens with your imagination. And so now I'm taking this and I'm going to try to use it. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try to use it to make an impression. Sort of working. You see that? Sort of working. Okay, I'll take it. Okay. I'm not going for perfection here. I'm just going for having some fun with this. And let's see, this has a cool little triangle design. Let's see if it works. Oh yeah, cool. Neat. Okay. So there you have it. That's coil. I showed you coil and pinch pot. And then you can also use the model magic to make beads. You would ball it up, make them small, and then stick a stylus or a toothpick through and make a hole all the way through, and then pull it out and put it somewhere to dry, making sure that the hole doesn't close up, because once it's dry, you take a piece of string like this, or twine or dental floss or yarn, whatever's going to fit, and you push that through the bead hole to make a necklace. I was looking to see if I had any. Well, I have a wooden bead here. So this is basically what you would do. You pretend this is the model magic. Make it into a circle, let's say. You use your little small tool to push a hole through, right? And then you take it out and you let it dry either on its side, or if it's collapsing and the hole is closing, put it upside down and then make it so that the hole doesn't close. And then once it's dry, you go ahead and you put your bead through. And you can paint them first, you can glaze them, do whatever you want to them. Super easy, super fun. And if you're using Play-Doh, your Play-Doh isn't going to dry as well. Your Play-Doh isn't going to give you the same result because it's probably going to crack, because that's what Play-Doh does. But it's fun to just play with Play-Doh and sculpt with it. So if you decide to do that and you don't want a permanent sculpture, then go ahead and play with your Play-Doh and just send me a picture of whatever you make. But if you're using the Model Magic or air dry clay, and they both can, you use them both the same way, except the air dry clay you may need a little bit of water to add to it while it's drying to make sure that it doesn't crack. Model Magic doesn't need any water. It's probably the easiest thing if you're going to buy something. It's the easiest thing to make. If you're going to use one of the dough recipes that I put up on the site, then you need to make sure that you're following the directions, and you may need to bake it in the oven. So I'm trying to avoid all that hard work and give you something easy. So again, if you can get Model Magic, that's the best thing to do for this. If you can't and you can get Play-Doh, that's fine too, but it won't be permanent. And if you have air dry clay, like I know some of you do, then this is one of the techniques. You can follow one of these techniques if you want to, or make beads, or make whatever else you want. These are also cool for any clay. You can always make a face. You don't have to, if you can't think of something, you can always just do an abstract design and paint it, and it's a sculpture. And it could be hung up on a wall, or it could be displayed on a mini easel or something like that. Okay? Just have fun. That's the most important thing, is just to have a good time with it and see how it goes. Okay? All right. Looking forward to seeing what you guys make, and I will see you soon. Take care, everybody, and thanks for watching.